Hi, my name is Jocelyn Neely.
And I'm Brian. We're here to talk about AV insights and advice. So we're so excited to be here again and talk about something that we think is going to be super important to you, and that's how do you create production value even on a tight budget. So we know all of you don't have endless amounts of money to do all kinds of crazy things for your event, but you want your event to feel special, more remarkable, spectacular. So what can we do together to really enhance the production value of your event? So Jocelyn and I are going to talk through some ideas that we have, and the first thing we're going to talk about is how do we do that in an environment where you have a limited budget and you have a lot of equipment you need in the room. How do you really elevate that production value? And we feel it's a lot about the people. So Jocelyn, what are your thoughts about how do the people, versus the equipment make a difference in the production value?
Yeah, I think there's a little misconception about that. You initially think, I need the best camera and the best light and these things, and that's where you're going to put your money. But really, it's the engineer behind the camera, behind the lighting, the controller, really, especially for a general session, plenary, you want that kind of wow moment when your audience walks in. In order to do that, having the right person behind controlling those things, simple things that we can add on that are low cost, walk-up music, having the lighting change, little things like that add those elements of excitement and energy, especially talking about lighting, the simple little things like that can really add to that whole energy within the room, especially as the audience is going in or maybe a new speaker's coming up on stage.
Yeah, I think to really create that elevated event, to make your event feel a little bit more, have like that emotional impact and kind of capture the attention of your audience, it's about spending a little time planning how are you going to make the audience feel that way with the equipment that you already have. So it's not about adding a bunch of additional items. It's about what are we going to do? How are we going to open the doors? Who's going to be speaking when you first address your audience? Are you going to play an opening video? Or are you going to play an opening song? When your main presenter comes on stage, how do they get introduced? What is the environment going to feel like? All of those things aren't related to the equipment. All of those things are related to the individuals operating that equipment and working on a show flow that really helps to create that energy, that expectation, and that environment, which really is production value without adding a lot of extra elements. So that's one of the ways in which we feel you can elevate your event with the same spend that you have currently. Another area to really consider is when you're going to different venues and you look at your overall budget. If you have a very, very tight budget and it's a very simple meeting, a convenient solution is to go to the in-house, and that's something that is very, very good to do and can allow you to kind of accomplish a very simple meeting, make the planning very quickly. However, if you do have, kind of a budget that's between, I would say, $40,000 to $50,000, what happens then is you should consider using an outside production company, because the amount of money that you're spending in total, more of that money is going to go to the actual overall production, the labor, the people associated with that event, rather than the commission exchange that in-house companies have to pay. So if you want your dollars to really go towards your event, it's really good to use an outside production company that can take that spend and apply it to the different elements of the event that will really make that impact. So that's one of the areas that you can take a look at and figure out, based upon your purpose of your event and your overall spend, who's the best provider for that type of event that you're planning. The other area that we wanted to talk about a little bit is what happens when you have your event and you want to elevate it. What are a few things that you might be able to add that will make a big difference, but not necessarily, break the bank? So, Jocelyn, what do you think we could add to really elevate an event?
Yeah, again, if you don't have the budget for the big LED walls and the huge graphics, there's really simple creative ways that we can elevate the presence on stage, especially at a general session. That's simple things, just Scenic, right? So using your branding, maybe you have your company logo or sponsorship logos or even a specific logo for that event. We can really get creative, and our team is so good about that, kind of working with you, working with the space that you have. With the general session, absolutely. But even within the breakouts, those kind of go unnoticed and untouched. And as an AV company and experts in this industry, we can really elevate that experience as well, right? Most of your audience is, going to be in those breakout rooms majority of their time at these events. So having that elevated experience and that kind of matching across that general session all the way to the breakouts, and even virtually, right? So, you know, this past couple years, we've definitely been dabbling in that space, and to really elevate that experience from a virtual attendee at a general session within the breakouts, adding simple things like an overlay that kind of matches that same branding as what you see maybe on stage. Huge element to add at very low cost. And then even simple things like if the audience member virtually is waiting for the general session to begin, instead of hearing maybe the shuffling of people getting in the room or seeing a blank stage, they see a branding moment or maybe a sponsor logo, things like that, and a countdown, right? So having that kind of polished, a little upscale feel to a virtual attendee makes all the difference in the overall experience. And then again, it can kind of match back to what the live audience member is experiencing as well.
Yeah, really connecting the planning of your event, putting time into the pre-production, talking with your production team about how we can elevate your event that doesn't require you to spend a lot more money. Simple scenic elements like Jocelyn mentioned that can be placed on the stage and be lit well often creates that environment that you're looking for without having a significant cost to your audiovisual production budget. But there's a lot of different ways in which we can help you in this area. It's best to do that when talking with you one-on-one about your specific event so that we can tailor our solutions to you. But we wanted everybody to know as we kind of ramp up and are back doing live events that there is a lot of ways to really enhance your overall event and really make it feel remarkable without breaking the bank. So thanks for joining us today on Insights and Advice, and we hope to see you soon.